Hello, Flimsy Lunch Tray here with our third episode of Lunch with Flimsy. So in the background today, we're going to have a battle I played in on Ocean and Domination mode in the Edinburgh being bottom tiered. So enjoy that. As basically the key in Edinburgh and Ocean is don't get detected. Anyhow, so today's topic of discussion. Don't have anything particular, but figured we would just kind of talk about wargaming a little bit as a whole, and also kind of what we talked about in last week's episode, and healthy take breaks from World of Warships every now and then, as I intend to start taking some 7-day breaks here and there, 3 or 4 times a year. But then there's also, it's important to have another game, I think, besides just World of Warships that you actually really enjoy playing. Not that I don't enjoy playing World of Warships, it's more of I don't really enjoy wargaming. Oh, dear. So, originally a while back, I was kind of thinking about the whole wargaming and the player base. And just kind of like the poor, what do we call it, the HR department, human resources, the poor public relations that I feel like players have with World of Warships in general. So if you think about, or if you've watched a couple of the previous, some videos that have come out, between Flamu, being kicked out of the community contributor program, and also what iChase in particular has had to say on it, and a little bit that the Mighty Jingles chimed in as well. It's kind of interesting to hear what they have said, and trying to get some of their different perspectives. And I think iChase summed it up relatively well from what I've heard from multiple different sources. But when you think about, as I talk about the community contributor program, go back, I think iChase talked about, 4 years ago or so, where the community contributors have their own Discord server where they get to talk with different staff and those in charge at WarGaming. And, as they would share ideas, the community contributors would be able to put their 2 cents in on different things, and so on and so forth. Just like even 4 months ago, plus when Deadeye was first introduced to the community contributors with the commander skill rework, a lot of them weren't in favor of the skill rework, but particularly Deadeye. A lot of them pointed that out as being bad and not good for the game. And you can see how the input that a lot of them gave, kind of went nowhere, and now WarGaming is at this time, as I record this video, they're changing Deadeye, they're taking out of the game, they're reworking it. I don't know what exactly they're going to do till it hits the servers. But as iChase had phrased it, what I wanted to say he said back in the day it felt like it was a two-way. Like, the community contributors represent players, and they felt like their opinions were heard in talking with WarGaming. And then at the same time, WarGaming talk to the community contributors and, kind of represented from the community contributors to the player base, where it felt like it was a two-way. And anymore, it feels like it's just a one-way that's going really fast, that it's just WarGaming being the one in control. And, if you do think about it, I think there's something that's missing, because when, Mighty Jingles had talked about how, the base of any company, of course, is to make profit, right? So you make profit, like that's the number one goal, and it's not so much as making a really good, really great game. And so profit is always going to win over having a really good game. Only when something they mess up or cause a dumpster fire does WarGaming, ultimately change decisions. And there's things that WarGaming, I think, could do that would, help with their profits, but also at the same time, make it a really good game, right? And so you have to think, where do those two things come together? We can make a profit, and how does this benefit players? Players would enjoy this, so on and so forth. But before, I guess, Jingo's changed my mindset more that it's not so much that players crying, complaining, raging that causes Wargaming to change their minds and things in the game. It's more of if they begin to lose a profit, does Wargaming actually begin to change things? Because to me, what I would think, if Wargaming really wanted to be make a really good game, a really great company, is for them to stop, take a break. So not only players take a break, but what if Wargaming took a break, where they weren't pumping a bunch of new ships, new game modes, into the game all the time, and that they took a break. Let's say they took this is going to sound so weird coming out of my mouth now that knowing Wargaming more now, but if they took a month, they took 2 months, they just kept the game status quo before modifying and making a whole bunch of changes, and kind of revisiting how the game started out, and kind of reflecting where are we at after the game's been in existence 6 years, since 2015 or something like that. How do we feel the game's direction is going? But of course, if Wargaming did something like that, that would mean losing profit, more so than that they normally do here and there. So, for them, it doesn't actually make sense to do. Because, and over the year and a half, I think now that I've played this game, I think I used to feel, I didn't, when I came into the game, I have no idea how Wargaming worked, and that they were more kind of this way. It kind of became apparent to me rather quickly with the Puerto Rico dumpster fire that happened at the beginning of last year. And also being a part of a clan, you kind of get to, the veil comes off your eyes and you realize, Wargaming honestly isn't that great of a company. They make a great game. I really like the game. But the problem I have is they continue to touch the game and edit it and make changes and all the time. So what can you do? So one is not spend money on the game. So that's something I haven't spent any money on the game since I think beginning of January, just because I've been pretty unhappy with the commander skill rework and revaluing the points that previous skills cost. And now instead of if you had a 19-point commander, now you got to grind it all the way to a 21-point commander. When I just had reached my third commander being 21 point and was earning more elite commander XP, they just do things that I don't appreciate as a player. And then now you have the new ships that they're looking to introduce in 0.10.3. Particularly the USS with Tier 8 was a Lexington battle cruiser, but it's going to come in the game as a battleship that not only has torpedoes, 9.2 kilometer torpedoes, but also a 10-kilometer radar. Oh, great, another battleship with radar. Exactly what Destroyer players wanted more of, right? So it's like Wargaming, to make up for lost profit or something like that, they start coming out with these ships that have gimmicks. So the publishers go to the developers and say, hey, we want a ship that's going to sell, that's got a lot of gimmicks. Make something up, whether that ship is actually balanced or not, it's a matter of completely different discussion, right? You have Smolensk jumps to your brain, your Thunderer. We just have these ships that are they're not balanced, but they sell well because of their gimmicks, right? And I think that's it's frustrating. Specifically, as a destroyer, the more and more ships destroyer player, the more and more ships they introduce into the game with radar, the more frustrating it makes for you as a destroyer player, because you have to remember more and more what ships don't have radar and what ships do have radar. Between destroyers having radar, cruisers, battleships, and then on top of being detected by carriers when carriers are in game, by planes, and don't even get me started on submarines. Wargaming's really forcing that one. And I have some information regarding submarines, but I need to do an own video on that and my opinions on submarines in general. But I think they'll be terrible for the game. So it's just like Wargaming keeps doing these things, and they're not listening. They're not even listening to the testers, right? That are doing these testings for the submarines, and I don't want to say more about that right now because they'll kind of give away more of the content that I have for an upcoming video on the current status of submarines in World of Warships. But they don't even listen to the community contributors. And then when they say we value your feedback to players, I don't think you do. If you valued feedback, then you would actually fall in line and listen to your testers, you listen to your community contributors, you listen to players. But the fact of the matter is you don't value our feedback. That's just my opinion. Now, I'm not saying that all staff at WarGaming don't value player feedback, but I think majority of, to me, they don't. But I think there are staff that really want to make the good game. I think there are developers that want to make the game really good. But the publishers want to make more money, the higher-ups want to make more money, and that's kind of where you're left at. WarGaming gets richer, but the game gets worse as time progresses. Oh my. I mean, I've even had players ask me, hey, Flimsy, are you doing this YouTube channel and doing all the things because you want to be a World of Warships community contributor? The answer is no. Definitely do not want to be a community contributor because to me, they don't listen to the community contributors, they don't listen to their testers, and to me, they don't actually even listen to their players. That's just my opinion. That's how I feel about the game. So, yeah, that's where we're left at. So I guess today's episode's more of a rant. So I don't know. You tell me what you think. What are your thoughts on the game going forward? So if you liked today's video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't, give it a thumbs down. Subscribe if you want to see more. And if you have already subscribed, thanks so much, as I really appreciate as we continue to grow the channel here with you. So until next time, take care.